Hey, thanks for joining us on the Eat Crunchy podcast. We are three sisters on a journey towards healthy lives using Weight Watchers to get there. We'd love to hear about your journey as well on our Facebook page or at eatcrunchy.com.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Eat Crunchy. This is Heidi, and I'm here with Lisa and Rebecca. Today, we thought we'd bring a little weight loss fact or fiction to you. So I've prepared a few questions, and I'm going to quiz Lisa and Rebecca a little bit to see what they know. There's no judgment, of course, because I didn't.
We know very little.
Are you guys ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. Yep. Just before we start, all these facts I did find on legitimate websites. They're found on WebMD or Oprah.com or Good Housekeeping, and I did confirm that they all
Oprah.com. We assume that she's
they
only
were all
posting
cited by
stuff.
actual studies, which I looked at.
Okay.
So they do actually have studies behind them.
Okay.
I'm not just
Not
getting
just
some
Oprah.
like, Mrs. Coach Weight Loss blog.com or something. That's not a real blog. I'm just making it.
It's like poor Mrs. Coach.
All right. Knowing and writing down your core values like family, religion, relationships help you lose weight. Fact or fiction?
True. I think that's fact. Yeah, but that's such a broad thing. What is knowing your values? I mean,
I hit the
kind
buzzer
of a
first.
weird fact.
You think I'm trying to trick you with the wording of the question?
No, I just
I
think
might
that like that's kind of a broad who doesn't know their values or
I think that's a my words are failing me. I think that's a bigger picture of the, knowing your why concept.
I agree with you. So the answer is it's fact. So according to a study that was done at Stanford University and the University of Waterloo in Canada, they said that women who were asked to make a list of their values, like relationships, politics, and religion, and then write about the one that was most important to them, lost more weight, had lower BMIs, and smaller waistlines than those who didn't write about their values.
So, just write about, because you said politics, which wouldn't be a reason to lose weight. So I don't understand.
Values. So politics, maybe not, but your values and why you hold those political views.
So it's kind of just like if you know who you are, you're going to lose weight more than if you don't.
Right.
Well, and I think if you reflect on what you're doing here, when I feel like that's true for me, the times that I reflect on the goals that I have, sorry guys, I have a cold, so my voice is kind of up and down, but the times that I focus on, what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and kind of even bigger than weight loss, but what's my life's purpose? I find that I tend to be more motivated to do healthy things in general because I'm thinking about a bigger picture than just my day-to-day stuff.
And I think even if you think about just the political leanings, so I'm thinking about the values that I hold politically, I advocate for them. I want to be healthy enough to go on, to go hold my sign for the political person that I believe in. And I think it's little stuff like that makes a difference in how you perceive yourself and how you take care of yourself.
I'm just such a cynic because I'm like, what? Did some people actually not write down what they believe? That's just a weird scientific test to me.
I think it's even more I found it interesting that it's more than just knowing it, but writing it down. I thought that was interesting. There's a correlation between writing.
Well, I mean, I think that even the concept, we're using politics as an example here. Maybe beliefs on gardening could be another example. But, when you're thinking about your value, you're writing it down, you're building your self-efficacy. You're kind of restating who you are as a person, as a human being, and that builds self-esteem. And so I feel like that could be a self-affirming activity. I feel like I want to go write down my values right now. If I can write down values and lose weight, man, I will write down all day long.
I'm sure that's exactly how it works.
And it's a fitness point, right? I'm moving more.
All right, moving on to the next one. Cutting your restaurant budget can also help you cut calories.
Yes.
Basically, if you don't eat out as much, will you eat less calories?
Are there any hard questions on this quiz?
There are. Just calm down. Okay. So that one is a fact. But what's interesting is eating just one meal away from home can translate into 2 extra pounds a year for the average person. So I think about how often I eat out.
For me.
Yeah, I eat out really frequently. Apparently, the average adult eats out nearly 5 times a week, This says, and often consumes around 134 additional calories per meal. I would say when I eat out, it's much more than 134 additional calories.
I feel like I gained 2 pounds by driving by a Chili's.
I found this at work as well. So we have a cafeteria downstairs at work, and they're pretty healthy with the food that they make. And I usually, when I get food downstairs, I'll get it from the salad bar. But what I've noticed when I do that is even just in doing that, I end up eating, I think, a higher quantity of food than I would normally eat. And I also think that I have higher calorie or higher point foods. And so I'll find that I put things on my salad that if I was bringing a salad from home, I might not do. I'm also more likely to pick up a diet soda, which even though it's 0 calories is not really healthy. And there are these really good chocolate chip cookies that don't exactly have a calorie count. So I guesstimate their points. And I'm pretty confident my guesstimation is off. But I find that like if I can avoid going downstairs and I bring my lunch, I feel like I have better weeks when I do that.
I was thinking about how, at home, how you prepare it and how much oil and stuff you use. So last night we went out to eat. Rebecca and I went with another friend, and Rebecca ordered, so good, she ordered fajitas. But it's marinated. So I was just thinking about all the things that took to make that meal. Like it was marinated, and they probably used oil on the grill. Like you think that what you might be making a good choice because you've chosen, salmon or shrimp or chicken or whatever. But you just don't know, like, what is it marinated in? Marinades often have oil. What is it cooked on the grill in? It often has oil, so.
And unfortunately, last night, it took them 45 minutes to bring our food. And so I ate my weight in queso and chips.
Yeah.
So my goodness.
That's the best part.
Went to the wayside.
It took forever. And in front of us were the chips and queso that you're just like, I'm so hungry. And
I know.
But I will say that when it comes to eating out a lot, just because I've traveled a lot recently, and I feel like having places that you trust sort of predetermined, especially when it comes to like fast food, and like you're out at work and you just like have, you didn't bring lunch and you have to have something. Understanding what the better of all the bad is, right? Understanding where sort of like the healthier fast food places are, and just having that as a backup plan already, I think is just really helpful, so that when you don't fall into, eating quesadillas at Taco Bell, you fall into maybe having like a grilled chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A or something if you have to. So like you've sort of predetermined, the healthiest route for those bad scenarios. It is tougher though when you're at a restaurant. I think like eating out in the evenings is tougher, but just like, during the day, or if you're like missing a meal during the day and you have to have fast food, it feels, I think you can do things to sort of minimize the damage there.
I agree. And I think there are times that I'll specifically choose restaurants that are in the app because I know how many points there are and I don't have to estimate. Going to like hole in the walls might be fun, but there's some more estimation that goes on there. Like it's less mental energy, and I know for sure that I'm getting something that's worth this many points.
Well, I agree. I think that, being able to have those go-to places that are low points can be helpful. I'll say though, with that being said, anytime anybody makes anything anytime I get any food outside of my home, it's going to have more sodium than I put it in my home. I've noticed that's a big thing, that even when I'm eating like the chicken and fresh fruit at Chick-fil-A, or I'm getting like the taco salad without the chips at Wendy's, and I'm like trying to do things that are healthier, sodium really seems to impact my weight gain loss pretty significantly. And even just a couple of meals out, I notice a big difference in the amount of sodium I have. At home, I don't really ever add salt to my food. And so it just kind of comes with whatever it has. And so even eating healthfully, when it's prepared by someone else, like Heidi said, you don't quite know what's going to be in it. So one of the goals I've been trying to do better at like taking food places, having prepared snacks and fruits and things like that. I feel like it's helping.
I agree with you. All right, moving on to our next question. Only 50% of the people who try to lose weight successfully do so and keep it off.
50?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a really big number.
Way too high.
I think it's less than that.
20% of the people who I didn't catch you. So 20% of the people who try to lose weight are able to do it and keep it off. And I feel
I'm
like
totally depressed.
that can be really discouraging. On the other hand, if you're still like we are, we haven't given up, even though we haven't been as fast, and I would have given up already many times. We're still trucking, which means we're not in the 80% group yet. We're still in the 20%.
Is this like any kind of weight, going from like very overweight to skinny, or just any weight loss goal?
I didn't do that much research into the study.
Because 20% kind of feels like a high number to me too, because it's so difficult.
Well, I think though we've talked about this before, that if you're viewing weight loss as a time limited thing, then when you're done with weight loss, you go back to your old way of eating and then you regain the weight, versus like figuring out how to make this work long term. And I think that's where the struggle can be.
Not one of the questions that I have, but one of the things I did read was that the average woman loses her weight 9 times, like her body weight 9 times in her lifetime through all the dieting, and that she spends 6 months out of every year trying to shape or tone or lose weight.
It's hard to be a woman.
No, I've done that before. I've had periods of time where I'd lost a lot of weight, and then I gained it back, and then I lost a lot of weight and gained it back.
Yeah. All right, the next one is a little interesting too. Oh, sorry, Lisa, did I interrupt?
I was going to restate that, but go ahead.
All right, the next one is obesity is contagious.
Sort of true. I mean, they say that if you are overweight and you are spending time with other people that are overweight, you're more likely to gain weight or remain overweight because you're doing the types of activities that would do that. But if you have thinner friends, you're more likely to like do more active things or go out to eat less or things like that. So is it contagious like a cold? No, but does it help to have people that have the lifestyle that you want to have? I think it can be helpful.
Lisa, your thoughts?
This is not a scientific study. I'm having such problems coming back. Obviously, it's not contagious, but you can influence other people, good or bad, based on habits. That's one of the tough things when you have weight to lose, is when you're around people where their habits are so ingrained to just be surrounded by food all the time. Go ahead, Heidi. I feel like you've got some clever answer here.
No, I just have the actual percentage. According to the New England Journal of Medicine, if a close friend becomes obese, you have a 171% greater chance of being obese yourself.
Wow.
That's a big percentage. So you think about like your family, who you grew up with, and if your parents are obese, or aunts and uncles, and like it's almost like you didn't have a chance, because that's what you're around all the time.
That's a huge number.
It makes me want to lose weight. Otherwise, my nephews are going to
struggle.
I don't want to increase their weight.
Yeah. I thought that was a big percentage. 171% greater chance.
Huge. That was my Donald Trump impersonation. My voice is kind of manly, so I had to do
Donald Trump impersonations, because my favorite one is wrong.
By the way, anybody who's listening who has an answer to keep our sister Rebecca from getting a cold that she probably had 17 times this year.
You guys, it's out of control, and my voice
keeps getting sick.
I do, and it's been weeks in a row now, which can I just say is, and I've been like all the homeopathic stuff. I've had elderberry juice. I've got essential oils going.
Well, that's your problem. You're supposed to be having elderberry syrup.
Okay, guys.
That's where it went wrong. Oh, I know.
And maybe something non-homeopathic and say scientifically based would be great as well.
Well, but they say that if you got to wait a couple of weeks before you go to a doctor, and if it's viral versus, it's just so much work.
This is a good podcast for later, is homeopathic versus,
proven.
That was quite the battle with the two of us.
Stuff. Yeah.
That Friends episode where Phoebe has the low, sultry voice? That's how I feel like I've been, except now it's moved to crackly. I'm all smelly.
It was cute the first time. But... Okay, sorry, Heidi.
All right, the next one is gaining too much weight during pregnancy is usually no issue. It's just a matter of taking it off at the end.
Well, that doesn't feel right.
Doesn't increased weight, I'm going to make up a fact here.
And it hurts the baby, right?
Doesn't a lot of weight gain during pregnancy increase likelihood of gestational diabetes?
Yeah, you have a higher increase of gestational diabetes and of preeclampsia which is high blood pressure at the very end, like dangerously high. But this study said that researchers found that mothers who gained too much weight during pregnancy had kids that were 4 times more likely to be overweight by the age of 3, and 8 out of 10 of obese children become obese adults.
So you are absolutely skinny, 115 pounds. You get pregnant. You gain more than you're supposed to gain
Your
during
kids
the
are higher risk.
and all of a sudden your kid's going to be obese.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they're at a higher risk.
Yeah.
That it does matter how much you gain during the pregnancy.
So how much weight are you supposed to gain during pregnancy?
It depends on how much you weigh when you get pregnant.
Ballpark.
If you're obese when you get pregnant, they really only want you to gain like 15 to 20. But if
I
you're
don't like that word obese.
like,
You need to change that. If you're extra fluffy.
if you're in the recommended, weight area, they'll say that you can gain, 30 to 40. My first pregnancy, I gained 70, and I'm pretty sure that no recommendation was that okay.
Yeah, but what was your second pregnancy?
I lost 16.
That's what I'm saying. A brilliant weight loss event.
And the kid from the first pregnancy is going to be an Olympian someday.
That's right.
He's as lean as they come.
Yeah.
Take
All
that,
right.
study.
The next one, keeping a food journal encourages you to eat more. Okay, I didn't trickily write these.
Good job, Heidi. I'm so not sure about this. Actually, I think that keeping a food journal is one of the top 2 or 3 ways that they always recommend will help you lose weight.
You are right.
That's something that I've heard.
Apparently, compared to individuals who didn't keep any records, food journalers lost twice as much weight.
Oh, but what if they kept some records but not all records? I'm just kidding.
But I will say there's also been shown to have that you lose more weight if you pre-record and then eat versus you record after eating.
So that's what I always do when I'm feeling very motivated. Like I can tell when I'm not motivated because I'll record it after the fact. Mm-hmm. But when I'm feeling like up on things and really motivated, I pre-record everything I eat before I eat it.
That makes sense if you're on Weight Watchers, but if you're not on Weight Watchers, what does that mean? That you just like planned a menu?
Well, you
just write down
and then stuck to the menu.
And then you feel like, okay, I already hit what I thought I was going to need. And
yeah, there was a study a couple of years ago that the only variation was that they wrote down the food that they ate before they ate it, and that people consumed 10% less just by writing it down first because it made you more mindful of what you were about to consume.
So what we've learned so far is Weight Watchers' concept of having a why is valuable. Weight Watchers'
like they know what they're talking about.
Your food journal is valuable. Listen to the last question I have, guys. This one was actually specifically done about Weight Watchers. Your average weight loss per month depends on how often you show up to meetings.
I'm online only, so what about that?
Well,
this is just picking fights all over.
I know, I'm just trying to be difficult.
American Journal of Lifestyle Medicine, participants who attended at least 2/3 of their meetings over the course of 6 months showed the most dramatic weight loss.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's why, at the meetings, they make a big point during times that people are less likely to attend, like through the holidays or through the summers. They have all those initiatives with charms and things like come this many meetings because they know that greater meeting attendance equals greater weight loss success. And even
go ahead.
Even if you're adhering to the plan and that's your goal is to adhere to the plan, for me at least, going to a meeting allows me to reset and refocus.
And I don't know that it's necessarily the meetings. Like Lisa, you're online only. I don't think, I know someone else who's online only and they're very successful. I don't think it's the meeting concept. To me, it's almost like that setting aside the time to think about it and recharge and, maybe finding support. Maybe that's really this, what do meetings provide? Finding whatever it is that meetings provide and finding that outside of the meeting to benefit you.
Well, and even the weigh-in. I mean, if you're going to the meetings, it's because that's your official weigh-in. And sometimes people that don't go to the meetings skip it because they don't want to have that accountability that week because they know that it's, it might be negative. So even when you're online only, and I've done that before where I've said, I'm not going to weigh in this week because I know what's going to happen. I know it's going to go the wrong direction and I don't want that recorded. So, making sure that even when you don't go to the meetings that, or, if you're online only, that you really hold yourself accountable, weigh in, mark the, put it in or put it in the app and make sure that you've made yourself accountable for whatever you did that week.
Yeah. I think there's a few reasons that meetings have shown to be valuable.
Mm-hmm.
So that ends the fact or fiction game, and apparently it was the easiest one on the planet. Next time one of you guys can write it and really try.
Well, what I think is funny is without trying, inadvertently, we kind of demonstrated that Weight Watchers is a good program.
I didn't mean to.
That wasn't the goal, but
I thought it was going to be like, which is better for weight loss, vitamin B12 or vitamin D?
More than the 20 minutes of research I put into it.
But I gotta be honest, I don't think that vitamin B12 or vitamin D, either of those are my problem. If they were fried and battered and dipped in gravy, they would be my problem, but that's not where we are. So
those are good topics though, Heidi. They're all things you gotta keep on thinking about anyway. So
I will say, as an aside thing, because we talked about weighing in, I'm doing a little experiment. I'll let you guys know how it goes. I don't have a scale at my house, so I've gone from weighing in at least once a day to only weighing in at meetings. This is my second week doing it. I'm going to do it for a few more weeks. I'll let you guys know how it goes.
What happened to your scale?
It moved away.
It was my scale.
I had a scale, but it was off, and so I threw it away, and then Lisa's scale was here anyway. So it's how the program is designed. They recommend only weighing in once a week. And I feel like I've seen some benefit to that, in that I know that if I hit my goal early in the week, I might not be as adherent to the program as I would be otherwise. But it means that I have a lot of anxiety on weigh-in day. So the first day I went, I had a gain that was totally unexpected. And that was really hard. And then the second week, I had a bigger loss than I'd anticipated. And that was really exciting. So it's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride. But I wanted to get a few weeks to kind of see, if that makes a difference for me in terms of being able to have more consistent weight loss. So just letting you guys know, we'll see how it goes. I'm curious, what other people have done and what they find successful for them.
I feel like my dream scenario is where I just get up every day and I'm focused on the behaviors that I know are correct or healthiest. And the weight just comes off without me having to think about it. And I feel like when you have a scale around, like I have one in the kitchen, that very scale that I took, that was at your house, there are pros and cons, right? It can get you back on, but on the other hand, like when you need some focus, sometimes weighing in midweek can help you. But on the other hand, it almost distracts you a little bit from the behavior because, we had talked about this, like if you find that you've lost more than you expected that week so far, if you do a midweek weigh-in, you think, oh, I'm good. I can loosen up a little bit because I already lost some weight. And then if you haven't lost enough, then you might, or to what you think you should have lost, then you might get more strict than is even healthy. You might tweak it so much that then you're binging later or something. So yeah, I've definitely had pros and cons, but I definitely feel like the ultimate answer is to just work the plan, adhere to the plan, and then weigh in once a week and have it reflect my efforts. And if I could build consistency into my life better, that would work. It's just, so I'm interested too in how this works for you.
I just want to say, if we're talking about magic wands and in a perfect world, I could do whatever I want and still lose weight. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Okay, in the current world.
Next to that.
But with better, but with more consistency.
Well, yeah. Well, and I had a moment this last week where I had my food that I brought for lunch wasn't enough. I was still hungry. And so I went downstairs to get a salad, and I was going out and the beautiful, gorgeous tasting chocolate chip cookies were there. And I was like, oh, should I get myself a cookie? And it's those flash moment decisions that you make. And the thought that I had was you have a goal, Rebecca. You're trying to go down. You're trying to lose weight this week at weigh-in, so don't do that. But I wonder, I don't know this, but I wonder, had I weighed in earlier and I realized that I already lost weight that week, would I have made the same decision? And I don't know, but I feel like it's not that I try to self-sabotage, but sometimes I self-sabotage.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, but
you're nicer to
y'all
yourself
posted.
than I am. I would have picked up the cookie, looked at it, and been like, fatty, fatty chicken patty, put that thing down. And then I would have put it back down. And then I would have chided myself for calling myself fatty, fatty chicken patty.
We've talked about self-talk, Heidi.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I haven't moved on.
You talk about it once and it doesn't automatically go away like it would on a television show? That's so surprising.
I would chide myself afterwards. What more do you want?
So the trivia from this week is, will Rebecca get a scale?
Dun, dun, dun.
Her names, herself names.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next week.